To grow potatoes, in most places you'll want to plant those in the early spring, and you can expect an early to midsummer harvest. This year I grew rose-fin apple fingerling potatoes. This is red Norland, and I also grew a purple variety which was called blue Adirondack. So today I want to show you how to make a potato and onion dish, which is really easy. It's called Lyonnaise potatoes. We'll use some fresh herbs from the garden. Today I'm going to use parsley and French tarragon. You'll want to take your potatoes and just boil them the day before that you want to make the dish. And so boil them for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the size. We're just going to parboil them. In other words, you're not going to cook them all the way, and then you'll put them in a casserole dish overnight in the refrigerator covered. The next day we'll go ahead and peel them. You can just lightly score them and they should peel pretty easily. And then you'll slice them about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch thick. And we're going to salt them generously. This is one dish that definitely requires salt. There is something about the potatoes with the salt that makes it, so don't be scared of using salt, and you'll see I'm not scared at all. I used a lot of salt in this dish, but it wasn't too much, I don't think. So we'll toss them, salt them again, and now we'll go ahead and prepare our onions and our shallots. I'm going to also use shallots. In this dish you typically only use onions, but I like the taste of the shallot in here. So to my pan I'm adding a little bit of butter to some safflower oil, and we'll go ahead and add our onions and our shallots. These are yellow onions, so they're kind of strong, and I do think that works beautifully with the potatoes. And so I slice them thin. I'm adding a little bit of salt along with the shallots are also in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and cook these until they're about translucent. You do not want to caramelize these because we're going to cook them a little bit more in a few minutes. So to my pan I'm going to add some clarified butter with a little bit of salt. I have to clarify my butter because it's not a real high quality butter. If you have a higher quality butter for cooking, you probably won't even have to clarify it. I do like the flavor of butter in here, but again, you can just go ahead and use butter with a little bit of safflower oil or something like that. And then put your potatoes in on a single layer, and I'm going to give them just a tiny bit more salt. And we'll let them cook for about 8 to 10 minutes on one side, and then you can flip them, and they should be getting pretty crispy on one side. You'll want to go ahead and cook them on the other side for about another 4 to 5 minutes, and then you can add your shallots and your onions. We'll give them a quick toss, and I'm going to add just a tiny bit of white pepper along with a little bit more clarified butter. We'll toss them one more time and transfer them to the baking sheet, and I'm just going to toast these off in my toaster oven, so it's real convenient to do that. And we'll spread them out in a single layer, and I'm going to put them on about 400 degrees while I prepare my herbs. And if you have chervil growing in your garden, that would be perfect. Chervil is also known as a French parsley. So chop your herbs finely, and now we'll check on our potatoes, and they're smelling really good at this point. I'm checking for the onions to see if they're starting to caramelize, and they are. Now you can certainly brown off your potatoes a little bit more if you like, but the shallots are getting a little bit crispy, so this is exactly what I'm looking for. And I'll go ahead and add my herbs. I want to give it a little bit of a toss and add the remaining herbs. And now we can serve them. So last year I grew the purple potato and I roasted them, and I think they turned out kind of dry, but with this dish they were wonderful. So if you happen to be growing any of the little purple, or what they call blue potatoes, they are wonderful. So I do hope that you can try this out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day.